Hi everyone, welcome to this video. This video is the second part of the testing Laravel controller tutorial. I'm going to be using PHP-tt library to write a lot of unit tests for the Laravel controller, and this here is the tests we wrote in the previous tutorial. And in this one we'll write more tests, we'll create some different types of mocks, and we'll even simplify this code by creating an alias. Okay, so let's get down to it. So right now we're passing this email parameter. We created a mock for that, and now let's pass a valid email. So this is the valid email, and we'll still be assuming that the email is required message is not among our errors. So let's run it. And we get this exception, and it says that presence verifier has not been set. And this happens because our validation actually reached this here, and this represents a database call. And as I said in the previous video, this Laravel here is booted without any database provider, so any database call will result in an error. We can of course try and mock this presence verifier, but I haven't figured out a way how I can do it. So instead I will just skip this unique users validation, and in order to do that I will mock this this little bit of code. So in order to do that I will create a different type of mock. It's PHP-tt exact mock, and basically what it does, it replaces any code that you pass here with a function that will return whatever you pass here. And here I just want to make sure that this user's email validator is not present anymore. Alright, so let's run it. Okay, so this time it works. Okay, and now let's actually pass here something for the phone number, phone. Let's pass an invalid phone. Okay, and then let's assume that we get an invalid phone message. So let's remove false here, because false means that we don't have a message, and we say that phone number must be a valid phone number. So let's assume that we have this message here, and that is correct. Okay, and let's assume that we don't have the phone is required message anymore. Phone number is required, we don't have it. Let's run it. Okay, so as you may have noticed, this basically this has a repeating part here. Like, we keep repeating this test my callable, and this looks a little bit sort of too lengthy. So what we can do, that we can, instead of the callable, we can create an alias. And an alias means that we are creating basically our custom assertion, and we give it a name. So instead of callable here, I just want to make this alias, and it has a name. Let's call it errors contain, and we'll pass hold on a bit. Right, I want to create an alias here, not just overriding my actual test. So I'm creating an alias it says errors contain, and now I want to define it. I want to define it here in my data file. Errors contain, and essentially it will be the same function, but it will not have a third parameter here. It will only have two parameters, and like essentially it will only have this. And let's here create a second alias which will read errors not contain, and it will return the opposite value. All right, so right now here, instead of callable, we can just use this, assert errors contain, and we can remove this callable from here. And now let's try it. Okay, so nothing changed here, which means that this alias works. So now let me change all my callables to my alias. Okay, and as you see, I'm using the PHP syntax for defining values. Okay, so let's assert errors contain, and here we're going to be asserting errors not contain. Okay, now let me just run it. Unknown command errors not contain. Oh yeah, this is because I forgot to define my alias for errors not contain. Errors not contain, and this actually has to be errors contain. I mean, this works because essentially my callable actually represents errors contain functionality. And okay, so this should work now. All right, so errors not contain, not contain, mock, not. Okay, so let's just errors not contain, and here errors contain. All right. And needle, oh yeah, this is because I forgot to remove this. All right, so it should be fine after I remove this part here. Okay, and let's assume that errors contained in the password is required message. Password required. Okay. Errors contained, password is required. All right, so basically this is how you test things. Now let's just redefine this mock again, but I mean, let's redefine this mock, and this time we'll pass all the parameters correctly. So correct phone number plus 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and even the correct password, which means like password 123 plus. Okay. Only instead of the plus, I think I better use the hashtag. Yeah, because this regex doesn't know anything about plus, the plus sign. Okay, so I assume that this configuration, this mock, will take us here. And let's see what happens when we get there. And what happens is that we get this error message, call to member function connection, and this is because the database is not booted. So what we have to do is we need to create another mock, and just need to silence this method. So let's just define another mock user create, and we'll simply return null. All right, so let's rerun. Route thank you not defined. Yeah, which means that we got all the way to here, and this is probably because we don't have the thank you route. Actually, we don't have it in this Laravel installation. Well, just because we don't have it. However, in order to make this test run, I will need to create yet another mock. So I need to mock this, but I will mock it in a way that it will return the first parameter that comes into this function. So that the first parameter that I want to basically return this, which is the first parameter. So let's just do it this way. So by writing @1, we specify that this mock will return the first parameter that gets into this function, which is very helpful if we want to check a variable or things like that. So now let's run the test again, and there we go. Yeah, it works. 11 insertions. Okay, so basically that's it. Thank you for watching this video. Please like it and subscribe to my channel. I hope you really enjoyed it. Bye.